On Global TV News Prime, federal government announces official age for admission into tertiary institutions. In business, Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited donates 35 CNG buses to Presidential Initiative on CNG. And on the foreign scene, President Donald Trump says United States will send additional weapons to Ukraine. And in sports, Liverpool returns to training in wake of Jota's death. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Now the news in full. The federal government has officially fixed 16 years as the minimum age for admission into tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa announced this at the 2025 Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, that is JAMB, policy meeting held in Abuja. He warned that any admission conducted outside the Central Admission Processing System, that is CAPS, would be declared illegal. Ogochukwu Mobno has the details.
Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa says the official age for university admission is to curb examination malpractice and unveil a Central Examination Malpractice Reporting Unit chaired by Permanent Secretary Abel Aniton. He also disclosed federal support for West African Examination Council and National Examination Council to adopt computer-based testing in their examination.
But the position is clear. The entry age for admission into tertiary institution is not officially pegged at 16 years. It was a deal meeting which was to be effective from this year exercise, hence the need for this compliance.
Meanwhile, JAMB has pegged the minimum cut-off marks for admissions into tertiary institutions for the 2024-2025 academic section as follows: 150 for universities, 140 for colleges of nursing science, and 100 for polytechnics and colleges of education. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede emphasized that these are the minimum acceptable scores and no institution is permitted to go below them, although they are free to set higher cut-off marks based on program competitiveness. He added that all admissions must be processed through CAPS and concluded within the approved admission calendar.
Adoption of 100 CAPS or who will be disqualified from participation in NATAP. That is, you will not come to it if your admission is not done through CAPS.
Also speaking at the meeting, Chairman of the Senate Committee on ICT, Senator Shuaibu Afolabi, and his House of Representatives counterpart, Olajide Stanley, commended JAMB for its reforms and pledged legislative support for the educational sector. Ogochukwu Mobno reporting for Global Television News.
President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to transparency and accountability in Nigeria's public finance system. Speaking at the opening of the 2025 National Conference on Public Accounts and Fiscal Governance in Abuja, the President, represented by the Minister of State for Finance, outlined key reforms targeted at strengthening fiscal discipline, digital financial management, and procurement transparency across ministries, departments, and agencies. Correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
It was a gathering of policymakers, lawmakers, and fiscal experts as the 2025 edition of the National Conference on Public Accounts and Fiscal Governance got underway in Abuja. The theme, Charting a New Course for Transparency and Sustainable Development, set the tone for urgent dialogue on Nigeria's fiscal direction.
In 2022 alone, Nigeria spent over 4 trillion on fuel subsidies, more than we allocated to capital expenditure. This was not only fiscally unsustainable, it was unjust. A subsidy that disproportionately benefited the affluent, encouraged smuggling, and breeded inefficiency was neither equitable nor strategic.
President Tinubu emphasized that good governance must be institutionalized, backed by platforms like Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, Government Integrated Finance and Management Information System, and the Open Treasury Portal to ensure that every naira spent is traceable and every officer accountable.
Since its removal, we have redirected those funds into targeted interventions, expanding our social safety nets, improving public transportation, and financing critical infrastructure projects. Most importantly, we have strengthened our fiscal buffers, making Nigeria more resilient to external shocks. Our commitment remains steadfast to ensure that the gains of this difficult yet necessary reform.
Lawmakers also took center stage. Chairman of the House Committee on Public Accounts, Honorable Bamidele Salam, declared that the National Assembly is united in its resolve to finally pass the long-awaited Audit Bill 10 years after it was introduced.
There is no better way to achieve this if we do not make concerted, conscious effort to recalibrate our fiscal management systems and improve our global transparency index. It is our hope that this conference will come up with clear, actionable and pragmatic measurable plans to achieve this objective in an immediate and short plus long-term measures.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, said the 10th Assembly has taken bold steps to enhance oversight and fight corruption, highlighted the passage of several critical bills, including the Federal Audit Service Amendments Bill.
Recent audit reports reveal that over 300 billion naira of public funds remain unaccounted for. More than 60% of federal ministries, departments, and agencies failed to comply with financial regulations. The reports identify challenges that include unauthorized environments, incomplete audit cycles, institutional leakages, and weak enforcement of rules.
On his part, Chairman of the Senate's Public Accounts Committee, Senator Aliu Wadada, urged all stakeholders to treat physical integrity as a national obligation, not a slogan. The conference, which continues for 4 days, is expected to produce a roadmap to reform Nigeria's public financial management systems, anchored on transparency, citizen engagement, and stronger legislative oversight. Anieti Patrick, Global Television News.
The Senate has reiterated its readiness to a careful and independent review of concurrent bills received from the House of Representatives. The Senate leader, Senator Okoyemi Bamidele Ekiti Central, stated this on the floor of the Red Chamber in Abuja. Our Senate correspondent, Topsy Gimbia, completes the story.
The Senate leader, Senator Okoyemi Bamidele, stressed that while legislative cooperation is guided by the principle of chamber reciprocity, this does not equate to automatic approval without proper examination. He highlighted that just last week, the Senate approved 6 bills from the House of Representatives, but emphasized that reciprocity does not mean garbage in, garbage out. The Senate leader added that each bill will be thoroughly scrutinized to reflect diverse public interests. Senator Bamidele assured both chambers that the Senate remains committed to maintaining legislative integrity by ensuring all concordant bills undergo comprehensive evaluation before passage.
We will continue to consider concurrent bills sent from the House of Representatives the same way they also consider our own, and we will ensure that every bill is given attention in overriding public interest.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, also noted recent progress, confirming that 6 House of Representatives bills were addressed last week. He added that at least 2 more bills are slated for consideration this week, underscoring the Senate's ongoing commitment to collaborative lawmaking.
We'll continue to do so. So please let our brothers in the House of Representatives know that We cannot joke with anything that comes from there. It takes two hands to clap, and we'll continue to work together. So proceed.
This stand reaffirms the Senate's dedication to legislative diligence and partnership, ensuring every bill is assessed on its merit for the benefit of the public. In a related development, the bill for an act to enable the growth of digital economy governance in Nigeria passed second reading in the Senate. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
In an effort to ensure transparency and efficiency in road maintenance funding, the House of Representatives had launched a special probe into the application of the Finance Act on the statutory 5% user charge allocated to Federal Road Maintenance Agency. An ad hoc committee has been inaugurated to probe how charges in the law have affected road maintenance funding in the country. Our correspondent, Aniete Patrick, will bring you that report in our subsequent bulletin. Now to the next story, where President Bola Tinubu has called for a fairer global system on climate action, finance and healthcare, urging BRICS nations to lead efforts towards inclusive development and equity for emerging countries. Speaking at the 17th BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Tinubu said Nigeria was taking bold steps to expand renewable energy and tackle environmental degradation and achieve universal healthcare coverage while aligning with the global agenda for sustainable development. The president told the world leaders that Nigeria was mainstreaming climate action, promoting nature-based solutions, strengthening urban resilience, and aligning its national agenda with the global renewal framework to ensure inclusive growth and environmental security. The Vice President Kashim Shettima has reiterated Nigeria's commitment to a comprehensive nuclear test ban through collaboration with the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. He made this known while receiving the Executive Secretary of the organization, Dr. Robert Floyd, in a statement by his senior special assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Stanley Nwocha, on a courtesy visit to the presidential villa. Shettima emphasized that Nigeria and other African countries currently prioritize addressing existential challenges such as poverty and the effect of climate change rather than pursuit of nuclear weapons capability. The Labour Party has debunked the alleged expulsion of Peter Obi from the party. In a statement issued by the spokesperson of the party, Ken Asugwa, said that the purported plan to suspend Obi is nothing but an activity of political imposters who are acting on behalf of shadowy interests. The statement urged Nigerians to disregard the desperate ranting of such people whose only mission is to undermine the credibility and towering influence of Mr. Peter Obi in the coalition-building process aimed at rescuing Nigeria. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the National Assembly must move beyond merely passing budgets to tackling how appropriate funds are translated into measurable public outcomes. Speaking through the House Majority Leader Julius Ihobere at the National Conference on Public Accounts and Fiscal Governance in Abuja, Abbas emphasized that sustainable development depends on transparent and accountable fiscal governance. He outlined initiatives taken by the 10th House of Representatives to improve fiscal oversight, including making audit reports publicly accessible, enhancing committee engagement with the Office of the Auditor General, and following up on previous audit findings. The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, that is TED Fund, Sonny Echono, has identified lack of knowledge and ignorance of procedure as the bedrock for not accessing interventions by tertiary institutions. Speaking at the opening ceremony of a two-day strategic sensitization engagement for desk officers of beneficiary institutions held at the fund's headquarters in Abuja, Echonu said nearly 1 trillion of funds allocated is not assessed by institutions. Global TV correspondent has the story. The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Sonny Echonu, in an interview with journalists at the strategic sensitization workshop organized by TED Fund at its headquarters in Abuja, says the fund has been re-engineering and reprioritizing interventions, which necessitated the workshop.
Over the last 2 years, TED Fund has gone through some major transformation. We've been re-engineering and re-prioritizing various intervention areas through our annual disbursements to our institutions. And we felt a very strong need to sensitize the TED Fund desk officers and the key actors, heads of academic planning, heads of ICT, and heads of the entrepreneurship, to bring them up to date with the programs we are planning and executing in their institutions.
Some of the participants, who are drawn from both public and private sectors, in an interview expressed appreciation to TED Fund for organizing the workshop.
Most of the speakers said it's a forum for us to interact, discuss our challenges we beneficiary institutions face with assessing TED Fund interventions, and then give them feedback.
TED Fund is wonderful. TED Fund is very, very impactful, especially in our tertiary institutions, because of the interventions that these institutions are able to access.
It has been a fulcrum for university training and for government institutions for a long time, and this opportunity for this training and workshop is exciting for participants, and so far it's been very revealing and we're happy about it.
TED Fund interventions have been major boost for both students and academias in Nigeria tertiary institutions. Therefore, strategic engagements are necessary for proper access to funds. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global Television. The Benue State government has launched a quick response squad under the Civil Protection Guards to boost security across the state. Governor Hyacinth Alia, who performed the launch in Makurdi, charged the officers to complement the effort of conventional security agencies in delivering results. Felicity Ndere reports.
As part of efforts to restore peace and enhance security, the Benue State government has launched a homegrown initiative, the Quick Response Squad, tasked with serving as first responders to threats across rural and urban communities. Governor Hyacinth Alia at the launch described the move as integral to his broader security vision, emphasized the need for absolute loyalty from the officers, noting that the squad will operate under the supervision of conventional security agencies to strengthen overall security efforts in the state. Governor Alia, represented by his deputy, Dr. Sam Odi, announced plans by the government to establish a security trust fund to meet the financial and logistical needs of the squad and other security outfits in the state.
It is our desire that this Quick Response Squad, which is a joint task force of different security arms, will live up to the expectation for which the visionary, the governor of Benue State, has initiated it.
Also speaking, the special advisor to the governor on internal security and public safety, Johar, assured of the readiness of his team to defend the state if given the needed backing.
We are not a replacement to the conventional security, but we are just a support to the conventional security comprising of the military, the police, the civil defense, and other paramilitary. We are first responders to all crises. The police and all of them cannot be everywhere, but we are in every council ward in Benue State. Yes, you heard me. Thank you very much, you heard me. And we are willing and we are ready to protect this our land if given the necessary support.
The launch in Makurdi serves as the pilot phase of the initiative, with plans to extend the development to all 23 local government areas of Benue State. The Quick Response Squad is made up of personnel drawn from the Civil Joint Task Force, Nigerian Vigilante Group, Nigerian Forest and Security Services, and the Benue Civil Protection Guard. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. I beg your pardon. News Prime returns after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, that is NNPCL, has handed over 35 hybrid compressed natural gas CNG-powered buses to the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas (PICNG). During a brief ceremony held at the company's tower in Abuja, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the oil firm, Bashir Bayo Ojulari, reiterated the company's commitment to support federal government's gas aspiration. Sadiat Yakubu has the details.
The Group Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, stated the move is in line with the NNPC Limited's effort to drive the adoption of compressed natural gas as a cleaner, cheaper and sustainable fuel alternative. He added that the company has recorded significant progress on gas supply, infrastructure, distribution and retail outlets.
In the wake of the PMS subsidy removal and in alignment with the federal government's push to promote CNG as a viable, cost-efficient alternative, NNPC previously donated 10 CNG buses through the NNPC Foundation.
Earlier in his address, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ekperipe Ekpo, said the CNG buses represent not just vehicles, but serve as instruments of economic relief, social equity, and environmental responsibility. The minister described the initiative as a direct reflection of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, a bold step to reduce the cost of transportation, lessen dependency on petrol, and ensure utilization of the nation's abundant natural gas resources for the benefit of the people.
The CNG story continues to unfold. The reality is that it's not just 2 years ago that the CNG story started in Nigeria. Some of us can remember that in 2008, there was actually a major initiative for CNG commercialization in Nigeria.
The Executive Vice President, Downstream NNPC Limited, Muminu Dagazao, said the adoption of CNG as a fuel alternative has significant economic benefits for the nation by reducing reliance on petroleum motor spirit and automotive gas oil as automotive fuels, which also leads to substantial cost savings and support for growth of local gas industry.
It boasted to reduce the cost of transportation, lessen our dependence on petrol, and ensure abundant natural resources are used to benefit our people.
The program coordinator, CEO Presidential CNG Initiative, Mr. Michael Oluwagbemi, commended the NNPC Limited for supporting the initiative, stressing that the company has been a reliable partner for the initiative since its commencement. Sadia Yakubu, Yahya, Global Television.
And now on the foreign scene, the head ministry officials in Cairo says a fire engulfed the main telecom company building in downtown Cairo, injuring at least 14 people and prompting a temporary outage of internet and mobile phone services. And now to the world of sport. From the world of sports tonight, we have a story making headlines as Osimhen is prepared to take in on a nearing dramatic conclusion as top clubs across Europe and the Middle East continue to battle for his signature, with time running out and speculation growing by the day. Osimhen, who is currently on holiday, expected to return to Napoli next week following the expiration of his highly successful loan spell at Galatasaray. He remains the subject of intense interest from both the Turkish champions and Saudi giants Al Hilal, but the saga has taken a fresh turn after the Nigerian striker reportedly expressed a strong preference to remain in Istanbul, where he scored 37 goals in 41 games last season. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories, where the federal government has officially fixed 16 years as the minimum age for admission into tertiary institutions in Nigeria. And in business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, that is NNPCL, has handed over 35 hybrid compressed natural gas CNG powered buses to the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas, PI-CNG. And on the foreign scene, President Donald Trump says the United States will send additional weapons to Ukraine, triggering Russia's criticism after Moscow claimed new gains in its grinding war against its neighbor. And in sports, a Liverpool star returned to training on Tuesday for the first time since the tragic death of former forward Diogo Jota, who passed. That is it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.